Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of our property analysis. I'm Jin Ping.
And I'm Eunice.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Robertson Opus.
Yes.
Something that is actually very close to your heart, right?
Yes, correct. And I think like something that a lot of people are waiting for.
Yes. I think it's a place that there's a lot of nostalgic memories over there, and it's something that is going to be part of a very iconic Robertson Quay. Can you share with us?
Okay, so I think if you guys are unfamiliar with the area, Robertson Opus is actually going to be a redevelopment of Robertson Walk. So I think Robertson Walk is quite iconic. You know, the iconic clock? Yes, so they're actually going to tear all of that down, and we're going to have the new development called Robertson Opus.
Ooh, okay.
So today we're going to dive deep into all the different layouts that we have, and then I think we'll run through with you guys what we think is good, what is bad, and then of course what we think like prices are, and then we can also see how best to enter into this area.
Okay.
So this is us.
Okay, so before we start the video, right, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So if there's anything that you want, you can just also reach out to us, alright? Thank you. Send the QR code, okay? I give you 3 seconds. Okay, come, let's move on. Take it away.
So this is the location of Robertson Opus. Like what we mentioned earlier, I don't think it's a stranger to many of you. It's really, we are considered part of District 9. So there's really not much supply of developments in here. And especially if you as a buyer, you're looking for something that's new, something that's 999, really Robertson Opus is the only development that you're going to get. We are along the Singapore River, you know, it's going to be a very serene, very tranquil kind of environment. And if that's what you're looking for to enter into, definitely do keep a lookout for this development here.
Okay, nice.
This is the facade of Robertson Opus. So I think, right, how Frasers actually redeveloped it, right? I think quite interesting. They really wanted to maintain the whole heritage, the whole culture of all the terracotta roofs along the Robertson Quay area. So that's why you see the facade that we have the walls are different color as well to tie in with the whole historic charm of the Robertson Quay area.
Okay.
Yeah, so very, very nice to see how it will turn out.
This is the overall view of where Robertson Opus will be. So actually, we can see that will be our actual site lah. So this is where the actual site is. We're actually right next to the UE Square residences. Then surrounding actually with a bit of the shop houses, and MRT you realize actually just a short walk to Fort Canning MRT. So in terms of accessibility is still there, and to enjoy the so-called the iconic Singapore River, actually just a short walk as well.
All your cafes, bars, they're all along the Singapore River. So
yeah, I think it'll be a very fun place to be in.
So like really will be quite good to really finally have something new, like a fresh look here.
Yeah, I think it's more like a refresher of that area because that place has actually been quite iconic for a while already. The more we go, we will reveal our age already.
Maybe people here watching also
I only got to know about Robertson Quay last year, I don't know. Okay, let's tell us more about the site map.
Okay, so this is our site plan. As you can see, we do have 5 different blocks: block 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So block 15, right, if you take a closer look, this is actually where all the suite and 1-beders will be at. And interestingly about this particular block, they all do have a higher ceiling height of 3.225. And then the B ones that you see at the corner, those are actually our 2-beders that have windows. So later we'll dive deep into that as well, whether it's something that you should be looking out for as a buyer. Then if we look over here, we do have 1 block that's actually the point block. So that's our block 9. That's one of our legacy collection as well. So definitely better finishings, better finishes that you're going to see here.
Okay.
So good kind of block to block distance for some of the stacks also lah. Still not too dense in that sense. I think the charm about Robertson Quay area is that all the developments there are quite low in density. So not too many people. So you still get your own peace over there. And that's what people there value also.
Actually, it's quite laid back. You think about it. It's a little bit like a little quiet part of your own estate. But then again, you do enjoy the luxury, the class of things over there. I think that's something that's very unique in Singapore also because everywhere else is too dense already in that sense. Okay, next up, the unit mix.
So we have a good mix of units. We have our suite, 1-bedder, 2 plus study, 3, and all the way to the 4-bedroom. See over there? 4-bedroom premium, very, very, I would say, limited. We only have 9 units, so only 1 step.
So if you have an opportunity to buy and you are really into it, please snap it.
Only 9 lucky people get to own a unit here for a 4-bedroom. So very rare. So these are the collections that we mentioned to you earlier. So you can see the different colors that they put. We have the premium collection, which is the block 15. Those are the ones with the highest ceiling as well. The other 3 blocks are our luxury blocks with block 7, 11, as well as 13. And then of course our last collection, the legacy collection, that's where you have your marble floorings, a little bit more premium on the cabinetry, all that as well, the Italian floors or the Italian brands that you will hear.
Okay, nice. Looks like it's really a very good mix of different class as well. Okay, so now next we'll actually dive deep into the different unit types already. So what we're actually going to look at all the different unit mix that we have. So we'll start off with the suite and the 1 bedroom. So actually you look at the suite layout, in fact there are only 2, there's S1 as S1A. You realize both are actually same in size, which is 431 square feet. So what you will see here coming in, we have a proper kitchen area, we have a storage area, of course the master and the master bath, and of course master is over here, proper dining and have a proper living area. So one of the key difference between the S1 and S1A, right, in fact is just this nook over here lah. I'll call it a nook lah. This side of the wall, that is actually main difference. So how is the 1 bedroom going to be different from this? We take a look. So 1 bedroom will look like that, type A1, 495 square feet. So you realize same thing coming in here, proper kitchen area, master, and now it has a proper room per se. So I think this is one of the key difference of the 1 bedroom. So comparing both together, you realize, right? So actually these 2 layout, any difference that you see?
Very minimal.
Very minimal.
Really just like the wall there only.
Yeah. So how we see the difference, right? So for the 1 bedroom, of course, there's this so-called wall here lah, which actually if you want you can be hacked down. In fact, on our end, if I really wanted this to be, I can maybe do like a sliding door per se to so-called make it into the room. So that I feel is not much of an issue. Then the second thing that I feel in terms of space different is this part, the entrance. No much, in fact. So in terms of the suite at 1 bedroom, we know that there's no much difference in terms of the layout. However, it's just a bigger balcony, it's just maybe like a bedroom wall that we'll see lah. But you realize for between 431 to 495, right, between these two we have about 60 plus square foot lah. Based on that, we might be looking at almost a 200k difference based on for example $3,200 PSF. About 200k for a bigger balcony and maybe a wall for the bedroom. Is that okay for you?
I think depends. We really need to see
whether it makes sense lah. So that's why on the booking day itself, if the PSF between the suite and the 1 bedroom is very close or about the same, I might suggest to go for the suite first, because I feel that the suite, it doesn't really make a very big difference. To pay extra 200k, I feel not very worth it lah, in that sense. But of course, because 1 bedroom, as we know, it always boils down to entry price for easier reselling in the future. So I will feel that for this suite and 1 bedroom, we need to be more sensitive towards the entry price. Okay, let's move on.
So now we go into the 2 bedroom. So for us, we actually have quite a number, 7 different types of 2 bedroom layouts, and of course we actually kind of did rank them in a certain way. So actually our top 2 choices, right, of the 2 bedroom will actually be the B1 as well as the B2 layout. So why we choose the B1? Because I think if you know people who are buying into Robertson Opus, they're really looking for comfortability, so not so much on the rental yield in that sense. After all, we are 999, you know, we're probably going to stay long term over there as well. So like what we mentioned earlier, B1 is part of the premium collection and is actually at the corners of the block, so which is also why they have the windows in the kitchen and the toilets. So I think that's something that people really look for. And also, since we are going to be targeting buyers who are looking at the long term, right, they actually really like to focus on enclosable kitchen, because if they're buying for own stays, likely this is something that they see of a value in the future. And most importantly, I think at Robertson Opus itself, the layout and the feel of the unit is very important. They want to feel good, they're paying a luxury kind of price, so that's something that they want to get at the end of the day. So which is of course why we choose B1 as our top choice, and in fact why we choose B2 as our second choice is because really, right, if you look at B2, it's a 2-bed 2-bath.
Yes.
It's like a dumbbell layout.
Yes.
Everything that you need is there.
Correct. Exactly the same.
Correct. Just that we don't have windows maybe.
Yes.
But we still have the same enclosable kind of kitchen that you see. A glass kind of L-shaped top, half top as well. So really it still lets the light shine through. It will still feel very big and very spacious also.
I think one more key thing that you also realize between B1 and B2 layout, right? B1 of course is a more family kind of a layout, but B2 you realize is something a little bit more modern today, which is a dumbbell layout. But because of that, actually you see there's a difference in the sizes also, but it doesn't compromise the use of that space. So for B2, maybe for people who are a little bit more sensitive in pricing per se, I feel that the B2 will be something that also suffice on it. The only downside is that so-called the kitchen and the toilets don't have windows, but of course it comes with mechanical ventilation lah. So if let's say you are more leaning towards more efficient layout, right, actually B2 will also be a very, very good choice.
For that kind of like space difference, 721 to 689, you're looking at maybe about 30 plus square feet of space. That can, we know, if we multiply it by the PSF 3002, you're looking at probably about quite a big price difference also, about 100k. So it's like, wow, will you pay 100k for Windows?
100k for Windows, it really depends. If it's like maybe just a couple, I feel that that's okay. But you're looking at like staying long term, like with family and kids, right? I feel that the Windows, all these will play out because it has to feel like a home. That's why when the natural sunlight pours in, I think that will be more welcoming. So you really got to weigh your options whether you'll be here for longer term or maybe how long you will be also. I think that is where it depends. That's why this two is our top two choice.
Also then down to the PSF to see how developers will actually price. Yeah, because B1 is also the highest ceiling one.
Oh yes.
Right. So we really don't know how they will choose to price. So if actually they do put a premium on the B1, the gap will be even bigger already.
Whether we know B1 or B2 will be the best choice, right, we will only get to know on the booking day. If you want to know which is the best choice, right, then we have to be with you during the booking day.
Correct. Yes. Because you must be very strategic in your choice already. In that sense.
Okay.
So that's why we explained earlier, these are the key differences and what we believe in why B1 and B2 are actually the top few choices. So like what we mentioned earlier, let's say if you compare B1 and B2, right, if the price difference is maybe 50 PSF, maybe you still can consider going for B1. But at a certain price point, right, when the difference is too big, then B2 might be a better option. They're all outwards facing also lah. So in terms of view, I think at Robertson Opus generally there's not much view per se also because of what's around us.
So the price point by right, it should be slightly similar. Just that because it's of a higher end, maybe they might pay the premium. So I think these are some of the pointers you also want to take note. Maybe like what is the PSF between B1 and B2? That's something you want to first understand. Number two, if B1 and B2's PSF is maybe more than $100 difference, right? Maybe B2 will be a better choice unless you really need the Windows. So if both the same PSF, of course we go for B1. Okay, so good luck to you guys.
Correct.
We will know. Okay, so moving on.
So for the rest of the 2-bedroom layout, right, generally I think our focus here was really on those with the enclosable kitchen first. So that's how we go because here the bigger you go, the less worry you will get because your buyers will likely be all own stay people. So it's a very, very different group of buyers that you will see over here at the Robertson Opus. So in terms of ranking, we have definitely shortlisted the third and fourth choices to be B7 as well as B4. Our B7 layout is actually our 2+ study. So actually it's really quite big. The study actually has an aircon also.
Oh, so got an aircon over here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So it can really work out to be like really a guest room or a proper study room if you need it to be. But of course at 743 square feet, it's going to come with a premium price also, for sure.
For sure.
Yes, the good dining table, L-shaped glass window kitchen as well. So still very, very similar enclosable kitchen. B4 at 721 square feet also gives you the same kind of feel. Enclosable kitchen, proper dining space, just a traditional layout, just that we also don't have windows in our toilets and kitchen.
I see.
But for family, food kitchen size also for dining. So how do we choose during launch day for B7 and B4? Okay, if you look at the site plan, right, we've already actually pointed out where B7 will be as well as B4. So if you look at them, B7, the block-to-block distance, you're looking at probably about 51 kind of range. So that's quite a good distance. You can overlook the whole entire pool. So definitely it could be one of the better stacks. And then of course the premium could be there. We are not too sure. We will only know on launch day itself. So it will definitely stand out for B7 because it's the only stack with a study.
Actually, in fact, these are the only 4 stacks with the study, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So definitely over here, people, if they really really value space, I think some of them probably will not mind paying that premium, because with like this kind of size, you're going to really envision yourself staying there very comfortably. Young couple, young families, I think also will be something that they can see themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're staying there for long term, actually, if the study makes sense, I think being a guest room or even for a kid's future study room, I think you will also play well. It all boils down to what is the entry that we were looking at point of time.
So B4, inward facing also, is similar to the B1 layout that we saw previously, just that they have no windows, but they are also facing the pool in that sense. So we'll see how developers will price lah. But these will definitely be our top 4 choices when we're looking at the 2-bedroom layouts.
Okay.
In that order. So the rest of the layouts, actually, they are the ones that don't have the enclosed kitchen. So we rank them bottom 3 because we feel that if you are looking for something enclosable kitchen, then this is something that the 3 layouts cannot give you.
Correct.
So we don't know whether people in that area is something that they want.
Yeah.
But I feel actually, you realize that some of the tenants there, I think they like the open concept kind of kitchen.
Open concept, definitely, because they don't cook as much.
Yeah.
And they are maybe non-family profile person.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a chance that this layout, right, will appeal to them in the rental market.
I think I do agree with you, but if let's say we're looking at Opus, if 999 years, if most people are more tuned towards own stay, you realize the developer has already catered something that the own stay people will actually like. But at the same time, they didn't forget those that maybe in the future want to be renting out, or in fact, maybe some people who don't prefer enclosable kitchen. I understand some of the Westerners, they prefer open concept to actually have a more family bonding time, like a cooking day together. And I think that this could also play well in that aspect, because most of the time, I think most Singaporeans will say, hey, open kitchen, the whole house very oily, this and that. But because we are in Robertson Key, where we know there is a very big diversity of different nationality, different kind of people, all walks of life, that's why I think developer had to be a little bit more sensitive and careful about what kind of layouts they cater to the market. That's why I see actually it's about 50-50 kind of a look. So they cater to more groups of buyers, which is great.
Yeah, very good mix.
Very detailed also in the sense.
Yeah, so I feel like there's also a lot more foreigners actually, from different nationalities that are entering in this area, as well as also local buyers. So I think they are trying to cater to as many kind of different groups of buyers that they can.
Correct.
So quite forward thinking on that. So we have also come together to a walk away price. These are actually the prices you see, right? They have already been accepted in today's market. If you look at Canning Hill Pierce as well as Union Square Residences, right? Actually, these 2 developments are 99 years. So they are not even freehold or 999 in that sense. And generally, if you're looking at a development that's freehold or 999, there's usually like a 10 to 15% premium. Yeah, in terms of PSF lah. So if you look at the highest PSF that has been transacted at these 2 developments, right, they're already at about 3,004 PSF. So for Opus itself, we hear say maybe around 3,003, 3,002, 3,004. So I feel generally if it's something that's 999 years entering, you're actually quite a safe kind of buy in that sense lah. Because you know that this is what market has accepted for a 99 years development. So that might still be an opportunity for you guys as a buyer here. So if we also look at the resale supply of River Valley area, okay, so what we did, right, we actually used District 9 and to see what's available in the resale market. If you look over there, we actually have 48 listings, but we zoom in on what's actually around the River Valley area. So we only have your Avenir, Aspen Heights, Rivergate, as well as UE Square. And all these developments, right, actually if you add them together, you're only looking at about 27 units for resale. So the rest of the listings that are from resale are actually up towards the Orchard area. So definitely I feel the River Valley side, there's really not much supply of resale units. So if you're looking really to enter here and then you cannot find what you like in these developments, maybe looking at Opus can be another window for you to look at.
Plus actually we are 999 years and plus the supply is not much also.
So definitely there's a potential for growth in that sense.
Let's now move on to the 3-bedroom. For the 3-bedroom that we actually see, the top 2 choices actually we have is the C1P and the C2P layout. So what we also understand in today's sentiment is that in this area, people are always looking into the luxury feel. So you realize actually the flex room, that these 2 layouts, there's actually a flex room on both of the layouts. That actually there are 2 things that we can do. Number 1, what we can actually do, right, is that we will maybe hack this down. Okay, we can actually do up another door here. This area will then become like a walk-in wardrobe. As a wife, how to feel?
Can.
Lady,
Confirm pass.
confirm pass.
But that one all mine.
Sure lah, for sure. Then plus, you can have a proper window so sunlight comes in here properly. So you will realize that actually this space will be quite naturally illuminated as well. Second thing I think that is quite interesting, the WC itself also have a window. So you might be thinking now like, hey, really WC got window very big deal man? I tell you it is. A lot of WC that we see is dark one because there's no windows and there's no sunlight, there's no ventilation as well. So you realize even in Robertson area, they even think about details like that, which I think is very interesting. So that's why I say another thing that is very interesting, because our Robertson Opus is actually non-prefab. That means to say some of the walls can actually be hacked down. So imagine now we look at the balcony, right? So now the balcony is shared between bedroom 3 and the living room. So what we can actually do, we can hack this down. This becomes your whole living area. Of course, if you're telling me right now temporarily you only need 2 bedrooms, right? Then this is what you can be considering to do. Plus, now your balcony becomes a wide frontage. Second thing, you notice this window side is actually a 2-side sliding door. Okay, so if I want to cook my family dinner, my wok hei, all those things, right? Actually, if I close it out, this is an enclosable kitchen. But when I host a party, for example, right? Let's say I have friends coming out, I will just pull this back. Then you will realize our living space and dining space becomes what? A very, very big space for hosting, for parties, for family dinners. So I ask you, this again, like I said, it will also play around into what? The luxury feel of what Robertson buyers will actually be looking at. And this is something that we'll definitely imagine. And these are all just minor renovation by just taking out actually 2 walls. So it's not like you're going to spend tens and thousands of things. It's just 1 wall and you can actually get it done. When you need it back, all you have to do is just to rectify this. Not bad,
Wow, shiok.
Sure, want to buy?
Yes.
Okay, so then we look. The next 2 choices that we have actually is the C1S and the C2S layout. It's also with the flexi room, but you realize the balcony is a little bit shorter. But why we are looking into this, you realize why we actually pick C1 first, right? Because C2 actually comes with 2 balconies, and that's the space is also different. So in terms of value proposition, I will say that maybe C1S will have a better value proposition unless you need 2 balconies. I don't know, what's your take on this?
Balcony in the master bedroom.
Yeah.
So maybe you wake up, then you really just want to open and see your view outside, have your coffee maybe by a balcony. If not, I think depends. I think it's a very niche kind of buyers in that sense also.
No problem. But what if I tell you, based on the difference of 54 square feet, right? I just take conservatively $3,200. Your this balcony will cost you $172,000 just to sit out there and drink coffee. The Starbucks can buy a lot.
But if you put it into numbers like 172, okay, that's really quite.
So that is why we actually put it the 3rd and the 4th. It's nothing, it's just that balcony, you got to see whether it will make sense for your own preference, because if it doesn't, then maybe 926 is ample. Because why? I still have my flex room where if I want, I can actually take this down. I have a nice living area still, no problem, because this is actually a glass wall here, so visually it look very nice. Same thing, if I really wanted it to be, I can also take down here if I want to, no problem. But of course, there's no balcony lah. That's why I say this is the 3rd and 4th choice. So the rest of the 3 bedrooms are actually here. So you realize why we didn't pick like your 5th choice, 6th choice, 7th. It's because you realize these 4 layouts, right? In fact, they are quite similar. Can you see what's the difference between these 4?
Okay, they all got balconies in the master bedroom also. So maybe only the entrance.
Only the entrance. So you realize only the entrance is actually a very big difference. I want to particularly highlight C5S layout. Okay, so for example, we look at 1044 and also the 980. So you realize one has no foyer lah. One has a certain foyer, right? So you see the difference in the size, right? It's about 64 square feet difference. Same thing, I assume I take $3,200 PSF and I'm paying $204,000 for this privacy area. Does it make sense?
Privacy, maybe the 1012, because 1012 also will give me the privacy that I need.
Correct. So if to prioritize, right, maybe C3S will be something that I want to be a little bit more careful, because 980 and 1012 maybe about 40 square feet difference. Definitely it will be cheaper than to pay for privacy. I feel that that will be a better choice. Plus, if I wanted it to be, here I can maybe do some carpentry. So it will also make better sense for me. Here wise, you realize actually it's a little bit narrow also. So it may not exactly be the best. So at least we analyze the layouts for you, you can understand. So this is something that's very interesting. The next layout. So this 3-bedroom dual flex. Typically as a Singaporean, when we see this, right, we were like, that was my thought. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I was like, open concept kitchen.
Like, very interesting. This is like a dual key layout. But then again, we see whether we can dual key, okay? So dual key layout, the essence is I must have one main entrance. Right? I must have so-called one main door here.
Correct.
Then here I will have so-called another main door lah. But you realize number one thing, the kitchen, there's only one. My tenant A here cannot be everyday eat instant noodles, right? Very poor thing. Come here, stay Robertson Opus, then everyday eat the Maggi mee and very tired. No. So in terms of that space or dual key, it may not be possible. Plus, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a certain aircon that is actually over here. So this is the aircon unit that you will see, right? The other aircon unit is actually, I think, about here, right? So you realize let me just delete this. What you will see is this whole part, right? If let's say I do a dual key door here lah, this whole part has no aircon. It's going to be very, very hot. It may not exactly be very practical to so-called do a dual key unit lah. So in fact, the next best option that we can be looking is actually co-living. Co-living, that means to say, here I have one, here maybe I have one more door, okay? Then here the kitchen is the common space.
Yeah, they just need a communal area.
So they at least may be your friends lah. But then don't forget we got one aircon here, right? So your aircon, because here is the door, then here got one more door, right? So your aircon is to cool this area only. Wow, this walkway very cold, no?
Yeah. Really?
Right. It may not also make sense, but then the question comes, this layout like a bit not so well received by me lah, at least me. But why the developer do this?
So we also quite curious, and we also kind of ask like what's their rationale behind doing it, right? So I think they feel that at the end of the day, right, Robertson Opus itself, the location, is a very cosmopolitan kind of location. So the crowd is also a cosmopolitan crowd.
Yes.
So this layout, right, with the whole open concept kitchen and a very, very long living dining, is really quite suitable for them. I feel like they like everybody sit together in the kitchen. I can see you preparing your meals. You can talk to me instead of like those enclosable kitchen where like you cannot really see, you cannot talk to your people having outside. So they really like this whole cohesive thing. Like we dine, wine all together. So this is also the SHOWFLAT layout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you go there and feel the space, right, the whole length really feels very, very spacious. I think you can put like a round table. Everybody sit together, chit chat all together. Yeah, so really, I feel like at the end of the day, there will still be a certain kind of crowd that will like this.
So basically, like what I was sharing for the 2-bedroom, the open kitchen style, this is something that we also be expecting lah. Oh,
correct.
Yeah. So I feel in Robertson Opus, this layout may make sense if we are looking into buyers who are maybe a little bit more Western influence, because this is something that's very, very Western. Asian family, if it's my house, my mother will want an enclosed kitchen, everything enclosed, then a lot of windows so that she can house everything do properly.
Okay.
For the Western people, maybe they are more towards like spending family time together, cooking, experimenting things like that. I think this is something that is very unique to just Robertson Key, and because this area of the different profiles that we will expect to have, right, this layout may resonate with this.
Yes.
I feel that it will resonate with the buyer as well. Okay, but we don't know. It's always down to the price.
Yeah.
So we got to see at that point of time what is our options as well. Okay.
But if you realize, right, I think developers also did this because now the bedrooms, right, have different views.
Oh, okay.
So you have the balcony and the 2-bedroom, and then you have another bedroom there that will actually have another different view. So when we study the site plan also and how they placed it, right, then you will actually get to see 270 degrees of view instead of the usual.
I see.
Just everything in one row in that sense. So they play it to their advantage to really utilize whatever floor area they have in that sense.
But if you let me choose, I may take C6. This one, I think nothing much you can do lah. So practicality, I think C6 will still be better compared to C7 because of the entrance. The rest actually, based on what we see, pretty similar. Okay?
Yes.
That is same. So now we also want to also understand in this current market, right, what is the accepted price already. So same thing, you go to Canning Field Pier and Union Square, you realize the highest PSM already about 3.1, 3.4 in fact for a 99-year leasehold. So if we can get somewhere near to the average, I feel we'll be very, very safe. and it's something that we want to be more tuned towards, because Canning Hill also got maybe 2 years ago project. So actually this price you realize is maybe about 2023, 2024 pricing, where actually Union Square is actually quite recent. So that's why in terms of 99 and the 999 in this area, if we are able to buy here or maybe closer towards the green, I will feel it's quite safe.
Definitely. So I think let's see how developers will choose to price it on booking day, and then you will realize whether this is really an opportunity for you.
Correct. We also talk a little bit about the resale supply. I think this is something that is always important. So based on what we see, actually we see about 48 listings, but in River Valley alone, right? Let me do a mental sum for you, okay? 29 units. So you realize as the units get bigger, right, the resale supply actually starts to drop. So this is why is this important? We're actually saying this because you realize this area, the people here really love to stay here. They don't really want to sell off their units. So that's why actually Robertson Opus can be an opportunity for us if you're looking to be entering into this area at this point of time. And plus the good advantage is you're 999 years. There's no worry of like lease decay. There's no worry about, oh, after 30 years my facade or whatsoever, because it's 999 years.
You really don't have to worry about your timeline. When should I sell? When should I exit? You have to rent out for a long period of time, then you move in after that.
Correct. Can pass on to your next generation, and say last time we stay here.
This is our 4-bedroom. Okay, so if we look at the 4-bedroom, really there's only 9 units, and honestly, as we were studying the floor plans of the 4-bedroom, right, it's really one of the better layouts in the Robertson area. If we were to compare to the older developments along the Robertson area, the 4-bedrooms there actually they're really definitely not as squarish, not as efficient as this. Here you have a junior master, you have a good size. You even probably have space to put a study in the junior master. You have proper bedrooms. You also have your master bedroom that's very big. So just now he asked, in the 3-bedroom premium, you realize that it means that you can hack the flexi to be a walk-in wardrobe, right? So actually that's what they did over here. So then now we also have a walk-in wardrobe for the master bedroom. So it's actually how they envision it to be.
Okay.
So very luxurious. I think if your buyer comes into this kind of layout, right, they're really going to feel that they are paying this kind of price and staying at this kind of location in this kind of space.
Correct.
That's something that Robertson area, people do really value this kind of things in that sense.
Right.
But like what we mentioned earlier, only 9 units. So if you can get it, then congrats.
Congratulations. Okay, another thing I think you also need to understand, right? It's not just about, oh, the unit size is very big, that's why people here will like it. I feel that people in this area will want to make sure that the space is big, but at the same time, it is usable space. And this is what people here will want, because that will be luxury. Just like in this area, just like I mentioned the 3-bedroom, right? If let's say you only need 3 bedrooms, but for the temporary, same thing, this can be taken down. Same thing plus the kitchen with the dual sliding door. Then you see this is the entire living space with your balcony.
Wow. So squarish.
Very square, very nice. This one house party will be very short.
Yeah.
So you realize actually this is probably one of the best layout actually seen so far in Robertson area. And the fact is that they actually place it here, right? And it's really is here to stay. And there's only 9 units. So if you are actually looking to be buying into this area with a big space, this is definitely a layout you cannot miss. So next thing we also want to understand is the resale supply.
Yes. So like what Jing Ping mentioned earlier, the bigger you go, the lesser the supply in that area. So you can see over here our resale supply, right, actually is even lesser already. Now you're only looking at probably around 17. Yes. So I think understanding that there is a lack of supply here is one thing, but it also shows that there is actually demand. It means that if there's a unit that comes up for sale, likely it gets snapped up pretty fast. That's why there's not many units for sale. Because the moment they come on, people buy. It shows you that demand together with lack of supply is something that is actually in the Robertson area over here. So yeah, I think definitely, for someone that's also looking for something that's new, developments here are also generally a little bit on the older side already. Only Avenir is a little bit newer, but the PSF there is also quite high.
Yes.
And the quantum, they put it from
the quantum. I mean, because the same thing, the floor plate are big. That's why you see in terms of the quantum is big, because floor plate is very big.
But that's what people value also. They don't mind paying, about a bigger floor plate in that sense. So over here, that's how we kind of see how the 4-bedroom will be like and how it will probably behave in the resale market.
We have come to the end of our analysis today.
We hope that you guys understood what it's like and what the different layouts are and kind of like who Robertson Opus is also targeting at.
Yes, we really hope that actually this video will give you a little bit more clarity that actually if you're looking into exploring this area, this is what you can be so-called looking at. As you can see, I'm trying to store the video so that you all got time to scan our QR codes and to contact us for anything else. No, but of course, if you guys have any questions, because I'm definitely sure whatever we have said today is just on a very general spectrum. If you really have anything that you need to ask or you have anything that you clarify, please reach out to either of us. Okay, our social media, our Instagram handle is there, our QR code is there for our WhatsApp. Anything, just reach out to us. Okay, please remember, like, share, subscribe to our channel. If not, I'll see you again soon. See you.
Bye.
Bye.